Good evening. It's Saturday, September 18th. So yesterday when I was throwing, you may have noticed I didn't particularly wedge the clay. I just cut it out of the block. And that's because when I buy it de-aired, so it has less of a need to be wedged. So there you can see the 8 mugs, and because I wrapped them too well, they're not ready for handles. I thought I'd put the handles on them tonight before bedtime, but I guess not. Luckily I don't work tomorrow, or at least not with the buses, so I'm at liberty to start things that I'll need to finish tomorrow. So the 8 mugs will get their handles, and this bowl that I'm working on now, I guess it's a bowl, okay, so this initial puck, shall we say, most of the time, in most pots, and this one too, this will determine the width of the foot ring. Okay, so what happens up here is still optional, but I'm committing myself to a pot big enough to justify a foot ring this big. And no, I have no particular plan. I just wanted to Okay, so I still haven't really gone much outside that foot ring. I'm going to do something I don't normally do, which is check the thickness. Okay, so it's actually kind of thin. I mean, okay, so it's that thick. When I run a wire under it, it's going to lose some more. But there's a partial solution. I can force some clay back. So, many parts of throwing a pot I don't recommend using your fingers for, because they're squishy and they're full of hinges. If you want to make something firm, use something firm, a firm rib. Okay, it may not be obvious, but I should point out, okay, both feet are on the ground, both knees are holding the wheel, both elbows are on the thigh, hand is touching a hand, and it's all about being steady and strong, and you don't achieve those things accidentally or, by sticking out one hand daintily. So, let's see. So now we get to commit to either how high or how wide the bowl is going to be, because I kind of like to get there with a minimum of fussing. more you fuss, the more likely it is to get soft and collapse. Okay, and I've talked before, I'm a big believer in sturdy rims. They make everything down the line easier, including trimming, including using it, including not having it break in use. Okay, so I removed some clay. I don't need that clay that's near the wheel head. Okay, so that theoretically is the first pull. As I mentioned before, I'm trying to limit myself to 2 pulls. Okay, so my wall thickness is where it needs to be. No more pulling. Pulling is just to establish wall thickness. Okay, so now we're going to work on shape. And I don't shape the outside. That can happen at the trimming stage. And if my wall thickness is consistent, the outside will match the inside. So I won't have much to do. Okay. And I could have done this earlier, but so now I'm smoothing out the rim. Okay, so I could try running a wire under it now, but I would rather wait till it stiffens up a bit, and there's no particular hurry. So there you go, wide bowl. Have a good evening.